Now, let us see what are the add-on covers normally given under mega risk insurance. This is a limited list. You can increase this list as you wish, provided your reinsurance company is agreeing for that. To start with, see, this is as per the market practice. Market practice is that we are giving up to 5 crores free of cost. Okay. So, but especially in international market, this formula does not apply. Many times I have seen Swiss Re terms or Munich Re terms, there the limit is your even 50 crores they have agreed. Even 100 crores they have agreed without charging additional premium because their rates are built in. What is the basic theory is, if you look at the deductible, if you apply a deductible of 50 crores for each and every loss, that means these things, they become immaterial. Whether the loss limit is 5 crores or 10 crores or 50 crores or 15 crores, this becomes immaterial. This becomes material when the deductible is 50 lakhs. But if the deductible is 50 crores, what is the there is nothing there to argue on this. You take 5 or you take 10 or you take 25, doesn't make any difference. Understand? So this is for those things where the terms are decided, especially in IR policies, where this common practice is going on. But whenever international terms are quoted, then these limits are immaterial because invariably they are given at higher deductibles. I'll give you many examples. Now let us see few add-on covers. There are confusions, misunderstandings. I will like to clarify both for brokers as well as for underwriters. Okay. Now, as you see,
can you show back the previous slide once again?
Yes, please.
So the premium rate for any add-ons will be normally charged at policy rate.
We charge for any add-on cover, we charge on the loss limit selected by the client. Up to 5 crores, we see it is no additional premium is charged. But above 5 crores, if you ask for 10 crores, then insurance company will charge additional premium at the rate of policy rate. If the policy rate is 3.2 or 1.2, at the rate of 1.2 per mille, at 10 crores, they will impose the premium. They will charge the premium. But this formula does not apply when international terms are quoted. Understand? I am talking of that situation where the policy deductible is 50 lakhs as per GIC norms. What GIC norm says that for any mega risk, the policy deductible is 50 lakhs minimum. And Indian companies, if you look at the Indian market, we are not charging more than 50 because the moment we try to put 75 lakhs excess, we are out of competition. So everybody is interested in charging the bare minimum. In that situation, once the deductible is limited, we try to collect additional premium for add-on covers which are above 5 crores. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. Now let us see some of the add-on covers, major add-on covers. I have not inserted all add-on covers because as on date, if you look at the list of any proposal or RFQ or RI slip, okay, you will find a big list of add-on covers. And half of them, I call them cosmetic cover. Cosmetic cover means they are just to impress the client. Otherwise, they are of no use. Ultimately, they will not trigger a loss in any situation. They are cosmetic covers. Many are cosmetic covers. So cosmetic covers I am not discussing. I am discussing only those add-on covers which make sense and which are ultimately going to affect insurance companies' liability, which may trigger a loss. So this minor works extension is very important. I would like to discuss this. What is the need of minor works extension? Reason being why this cover was devised. As you know, this policy is given for operational risk. It can be given for project insurance also, but let us assume we are covering a operational risk, which is in working condition. Now, during the course of working, in case the client decides to make some minor alterations, modifications, new construction, reconstruction, addition, or maintenance, or modification, or any other similar work, enhancement of capacity. Okay, currently my capacity, plant capacity is 5,000 metric ton. I want to make it 10,000. So I need to install additional machineries. I need to install some additional pipeline connections, motors, electrical motors, your pumps, compressors, whatever is technically required, I need to do it. So for that, you need to go for erection all risk policy, because any loss during the erection of machinery or construction of a building, new construction, modification, alteration, all these things, they cannot be covered under your operational policy. Operational policy is given for operational risk, not for all these activities. At the same time, any loss or damage to the existing property arising out of these activities will also not be covered. So what client is supposed to take? A separate EAR policy, engineering all risk policy. Now, in order to avoid this inconvenience to the client, every time you will have to go to take engineering all risk policy, it is better for minor works if the work is not big enough. In that situation, you can take for this extension, and the same policy will cover these things. It is a buyback exclusion buyback. Your policy excludes this, but you are buying it back by payment of additional premium, or up to 5 crores, it is free of cost. The same formula, because this is the concession GIC has given. Now, I think you got it. So now this extension, what it says, this any loss or damage during these activities, it becomes payable under the policy, same policy by way of this extension. Okay. And this policy shall pay only in excess of more specific insurance.
So your voice is not audible.
Extension, these activities. Understand? Now, what is the restriction? Restriction is no cover for testing and BI. Now, these things, they are maintained, they are erected, they are installed, alteration is done. Now, if you want to carry out testing, sorry, this extension will not cover. This is a restriction. In case your testing is compulsory, many times this testing is not required. For minor alteration, this testing is not required. It is not a new project altogether. But if you feel you are installing a 5 megawatt thermal power plant in the same premises, and you want to cover it under minor works extension, yes, it can be done. But the testing of that thermal power plant will not be payable under this extension. If you wish to cover testing, then in that case, you will have to go for erection all risk insurance policy. It cannot be done here, because then it will not be treated as minor works. If you require testing, go for ER policy. Another thing, any loss arising out of that, only material damage portion is covered. If it triggers BI also, business interruption, sorry, that is not paid. So no BI arising out of damage to minor works. Third thing which is highlighted here, it is a common mistake which is made by the underwriters, a caution for them. It is not to be given on loss limit basis. Many times, very, very casually, it is given on up to 5 crores. Sorry, this should not be given, because please understand what we are covering minor works. So we have to define what is the limit of my minor works. It is to be given on per work limit. Up to 5 crores of work, I will agree. Up to 20 crores of work, whatever limit you decide the limit of per work, not the loss. Understand? You can in a big industry, you can say any work up to 50 crores I consider as your minor works. It's okay, perfectly fine. So what is the aggregate limit and per work limit? It should be given. Many times it is given 20 crores and 100 crores, means per work 20 crores, and all works put together in a policy period should not exceed 100 crores. It is fine. It can be 50, 250. It can be 100, 1000 in a very big project. In a 10,000 crore project, 100 crores is not a very big sum insured. Up to 100 crores work can be considered. It depends upon the project sum insured. But sorry, if you say my loss limit is 10 crores, that means irrespective of sum insured of your per project, even 5,000 crore project can be treated as minor works. And then in that situation, any loss up to 10 crores or 20 crores, whatever is agreed, you will have to pay. That is a very unwanted situation. Okay, hope you understood. It is not correct to give it on loss limit basis. Then undamaged foundation cover. Now, what it says, in the event of admissible loss resulting in damage only to the insured building, but no damage to the foundation. Many times it happens that in a loss, only the building is damaged. Foundation, if there is a fire loss, foundation is not damaged. But what will happen to foundation? Nothing. In case of floods, building damage would be there, foundation will remain intact. Unless there is an earthquake, foundation is invariably damaged. So in that situation, now, if the reinstatement is done at the same place, no issues. Foundation, the same foundations can be used, okay, for reconstruction of the building. But by any chance, if the insured decides to reconstruct the property at any other place, okay, in that situation, this foundation will be treated as if it is also damaged. Now, in nutshell, please understand, if by virtue of this add-on cover, in case the reconstruction of property is done at some other place, then the foundation cost, although it is not damaged, it will also be paid. In absence of this cover, insurance company will not pay for plinth and foundation. Saying this, when plinth and foundation is not damaged, why should I pay again the cost of new construction of plinth and foundation? So this is very much in favor of the client. Understand? The plinth and foundation cost will also be taken into consideration. And of course, a loss limit is defined. Many times nowadays, it has become a fashion to give 5 crores free of cost. And 5 crores is a big limit. It is not a small limit. Okay. But if the client thinks that I need a higher limit, of course, you can go for that. Then obsolete spare part cover. This is also very interesting cover. What happens in the event of insured machinery becoming obsolete? Obsolete following a loss. After the loss, machinery becomes obsolete. That machinery model is not available. Okay. Now, whatever spare parts they were kept in stores for that particular machinery, they will also become useless. Understand? Because this machinery repairing cannot be done. Repairing cannot be done. Replacement is also not possible because it has become obsolete. The model is not coming into the market. The manufacturer is not no more making that particular model. So the client will have to go for another similar model or little higher version for the same machinery. Of course, subject to deduction of betterment cost or all that. So in that situation, whatever spare parts they are kept in stores, they will also be paid to the client in that situation, along with cost of machinery. Understand? Provided that such parts cannot be used as spare for any other machinery. This is again a condition. If those spare parts can be used in any other machinery, then this cost will not be paid. This is just a common sense. If you have got a single machinery, it's okay, because spares will also go waste along with the machinery. But if you have got 5 machines of similar make, that means these spares can be used in any other machinery. In that situation, this is of no use. You will not get benefit. Okay.
Can I ask?
In such a case, company will pay for the cost of spare parts subject to collection of salvage. Salvage will be collected and they will pay for the cost of salvage. They will either collect for the spare parts and they will try to sell it off in the market, or they will deduct some reasonable salvage cost from the claim and they will pay for the original cost of the spare. Now, pot freezing extension. Aluminum extraction plant. This pot freezing is used. It is a very, very important whenever you underwrite your Balco, Hindalco, Nalco, all these type of plants. National Aluminium Company Limited, Hindalco Industries, Anna. So these kind of aluminium plants where aluminium is made, is produced by extraction technology. Extraction, we call it metal extraction. Aluminium extraction, metal extraction. By way of passing very high current in pots. So aluminium is extracted from aluminium oxide, Al2O3. It is extracted by passing high current and aluminium is collected in a pot. So there the situation is this operation is very, very critical. Because why this extension is needed? Because the pots where the extraction is done, it requires very high current, high amperage of current, high amperage current. So in case of failure of electricity, pot freezing is done. Freezing is done in the sense because in case of failure of electricity, this electrolysis process is stopped and the metal
So your voice is not audible.
damage loss as well as to the client. So
Excuse me,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
it says
We
this
lost you.
extension covers.
We
Sir,
lost you
your
in
voice,
between, sir. Your voice was not audible.
Acha, just a minute. Let me see my internet connection.
so your
So
voice
you
is
have to
getting
repeat the
disconnected.
clause.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. You're audible. But what is happening is that multiple times there is a break there's a break that is
Acha.
happening.
Break in voice. So
Yeah.
it means there is some connectivity issue, internet connectivity issue. There is some.
So you have to repeat from the, in case the current is not supplied and electrolysis is stopped. From there you need to continue again.
Okay, I'll repeat this add-on code. Let me increase the volume of my mic. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. Just one request, sir. If you can switch on your video, so we will know that you are speaking or you have just taken a pause.
Sure. I have done that. Now you can see me now?
Yes, sir. We can see you and we can hear you as well.
Very good. So I was talking about pot freezing extension. This extension covers loss or damage to the pots along with damage to the molten metal, which gets solidified inside the pot along with cost of cleaning of the pot up to the selected indemnity limit following failure of power supply to the plant. Now, what I was explaining, in aluminium industries, the aluminium is made, it is produced by way of extraction, metal extraction method. Okay. And it is done by supply of high current electricity supply, high current, high amperage supply is given to these pots. There are pots, multiple pots. Thousands of pots they are used nowadays in big size aluminum plants. So if the power supply is interrupted up to 4 hours, there is no loss. But if it is more than 4 hours, power supply loss, then these pots, they get solidified, metal gets frozen, it gets solidified, molten metal, because aluminum is in molten stage. And if power is not supplied, it becomes solid. Solid means this is frozen into the pot. In that case, that pot is damaged, the metal is damaged, and there will be an interruption in production. You will have to remove all pots. You will have to chisel it down. You have to clean the pot completely, and then only you can restart the production. So it results into huge material damage loss, as well as huge business interruption loss. Understand? So what we cover under this extension, we give this material damage cover up to a selected indemnity limit. It can be 10 crores, 20 crores, 50 crores, depending upon the reinsurer's agreement. And similarly, BI loss, subject to minimum 30 days time access is fixed. In this case, 14 days doesn't work. For this particular extension, GIC agrees for not less than 30 days time access.
Sir, for this failure of power supply, this could be any reason?
Due to any reason.
Okay.
Not necessarily arising out of insured peril only. No reason, whatever reason. Due to following failure of power supply, that's all. On account of floods, inundation, whatever reason. Okay. If the power is not restored for within 4 hours, this is going to lead this damage to the pots. Okay. So material damage section and BI section, both can be covered with selected loss limits. Loss limits I have not written because it is open in each and every case. It is done. I am talking of mega policies, not IAR policy. In mega policies, these limits are never fixed. Now, pot freezing, I give you the entire theory. In this diagram, you can understand what happens. Sequence in aluminum extraction plant like Hindalco, Nalco, Balco. First of all, the trigger point is failure of power. It results into solidification of molten metal. This results into pot freezing. This results into loss of liquid metal. Metal is lost. This results into cost of pot cleaning. Sometimes pot is supposed to be replaced if it is damaged intensely. Then pot is not reusable. Many times it can be cleaned by way of chiseling operation, hammer and chisel. It leads to interruption in production, and then it leads to BI loss. Now, molten metal spillage cover. Now, it has got two components. Achha, I was telling you about the cosmetic covers. Initially, I said there is a big list, and why this big list? Why this a new word introduction of cosmetic cover is there? Reason being, currently there is a big competition amongst the brokers also. Everybody knows, like if we insurance companies have competition, brokers also they have competition. So what is the way to impress the client? The last year policy was having 50 add-on covers. Sorry, sir, I'll give you 75 add-on covers. So the list of add-on covers is increased by way of giving absurd add-on covers. Why I am using the word absurd? Because they are of no use. Now, say for example, this molten metal spillage cover. First of all, please understand what it covers. In case of, then I'll explain it further. It is hereby agreed that policy extends to cover damage to the property damage that arises without the occurrence of fire as a result of spillage or leakage of glowing molten metal from the container. Now, उसमें क्या है, ladle में आपका that molten metal is there, red hot, glowing, molten metal is there, it is spilled out because of accident, because of puncturing, because of leakage, because of cracking, because of breakage of your chain, which is lifting from the crane, because of breakage of crane itself. There are hundreds of reasons, mechanical reasons. And if it is fallen on the ground from a height, it spills nearby. And whatever property comes into contact with the molten metal, it gets damaged. So this damage to the nearby property is covered without the occurrence of fire. Fire has not taken place. If fire has taken place, then this add-on cover will not work, because then the loss will be covered under fire peril. That's all together a different thing. Why this add-on cover is required? Because property is damaged and there is no fire. So your fire, this policy will not trigger. There is no peril. In that situation, the proximate cause, what is the cause? Cause is spillage of molten metal, which has resulted into this loss. Okay, in that situation, the damage to nearby surrounding property, whatever is there, because in a production hall, hundreds of machineries are there. Okay, and then some molten metal is fallen, it is spilled out. Then it means whatever property comes into contact with glowing molten metal, which is red hot, 800 degrees centigrade or 900 degrees centigrade, it will get burnt. Not burnt with fire. It will be damaged completely. So that loss will be paid. Now, if this extension is given in a chemical plant, what will you say? Is it not an absurd add-on cover? But it is given. In a chemical plant, it is given. In a rice mill, it is given. In a sugar mill, it is given. Spillage of molten metal, it is given. So that is why I say it is a cosmetic cover to that, because it is not going to trigger anything. Basically, it is required in engineering workshop, in a steel plant, in any ferroalloy plant, or any other industry, aluminum plant, where the risk of spillage of molten metal exists. But as on date, it is not happening. Can leave apart that particular point. So that is why I am not discussing all those cosmetic covers. Metered water cover, your cleaning of drains cover, or how many covers I have seen where just a list of add-on covers which does not make any sense. Anyway, that is the way of competition, winning the competition. I don't interfere into that. But what I see, whether that whatever add-on cover is material to me, I will concentrate on that. Other cosmetic cover, I'll agree, closing my eyes, understanding clearly well that this add-on cover is not going to affect, is not going to hit me. Okay, this is the way of underwriting as on date. If you delete that add-on cover, business will not be metallized. So better you accept whether it is relevant or not. What is wrong with that? Now it has got another component also, business interruption. Because fire has not taken place, so resultant interruption in production will also not be paid under your basic policy. So you will have to go for add-on cover, business interruption cover arising out of this incidence, material damage, means spillage of molten metal. It will result into interruption in production process, and that will also be paid provided you have taken BI extension against molten metal spillage cover. So normally it is taken together, material damage as well as business interruption. Okay. Now, as per original GIC wordings, there was a restriction of 50%. I remember, whatever is the loss limit you are taking for this material damage cover, your BI will be restricted to 50% of that. Say, for example, if material damage cover is taken for 50 crores, the BI will be restricted to 25 crores. But nowadays, under mega policy, this limit has been removed. You can go for 250 crores interruption cover also, no issues. Okay, but that limit has to be defined in the policy. Overall, material damage plus business interruption limit will be defined. Both put together, what limit do you want against this contingency?